Okay, let's jump right in. When you think about Massachusetts history, usually it's, the big dates, the Revolution, maybe some famous authors.
Right, the standard textbook stuff.
Exactly. But the source material we're digging into today, it paints a different picture, suggests there's this maybe more resonant layer, something else going on beneath the surface,
That's a good way to put it. We're looking at a compilation, basically, of famously haunted spots across the state. It pulls together different accounts, bits of history.
and connects specific places to some pretty intense, often tragic events.
Yeah.
So our mission for you today, listener, is really to cut through maybe the hype and pull out the core details from this specific information. What makes these places stand out in the lore, according to these sources?
We're grabbing those key bits straight from what's been compiled.
And what's interesting, I think, is how the reported stuff, the phenomena, it isn't just generic spooky things, right?
No, not at all. The compilation really emphasizes how they seem tied almost directly to the specific traumas that happened there, like echoes.
Echoes, yeah, that fits. So let's start with one most people probably know or have heard of. The Lizzie Borden House, Fall River.
Hard to avoid that one. The 1892 axe murders, Andrew and Abby Borden. Lizzie was tried, but acquitted.
Right, and the source material highlights activity there that seems to, well, mirror that specific event. Whispers are mentioned.
Uh-huh. Doors opening or closing by themselves, phantom footsteps, particularly on the stairs, the source notes.
And it points to specific figures, right, not just some random ghost, but allegedly Lizzie, her father, her stepmother.
Yeah, and those distinct cold spots people report, especially right where the murders actually took place, the source really frames it as a direct imprint of that violence.
Okay, moving on, north, Salem, obviously known for the witch trials. The source zooms in on the Salem Witch House.
Which is significant because it's documented as the only building left with a direct tie to the 1692 trials. Judge Jonathan Corwin lived there.
Wow, the only one. And the experiences reported there, according to this compilation.
Things like sudden chills, hearing disembodied voices, and just that strong feeling of being watched.
And the source explicitly links that feeling, that atmosphere, to the tragedy of the trials and the executions.
Exactly. And it's interesting, the compilation mentions a range of spirits, not just the accused witches, but also children who died young around that time.
Huh. So it suggests the lingering energy reflects the wider devastation, maybe, not just the trials in isolation.
That seems to be the angle, yeah. Broader trauma.
Okay, heading west now,
Hmm.
the Houghton Mansion in North Adams, different kind of story. 19th century mayor's home.
Right. But the history that seems to stick, according to these accounts, is very personal. A specific tragedy involving his daughter in a car crash.
And then the chauffeur's suicide, right, in the basement. Really grim.
Yeah. And the reported hauntings described in the source seem to almost manifest that specific family trauma. Objects moving, doors slamming.
People seeing dark figures, often on stairwells, kind of connecting to the house's layout and maybe those events.
Seems likely. The source specifically names the daughter, Mary, and the chauffeur as the figures people report seeing most often. Suggests that those intense personal events left some kind of residue.
A palpable residue.
Oh.
Okay, further west again. Danvers State Hospital. That's got a heavy history.
Oh, definitely. Opened, 1878 as a psychiatric hospital, but its later history, overcrowding, stories of abuse, before it closed in 92.
Yeah, sad trajectory. And the accounts from the source here sound particularly disturbing.
They really do. Descriptions of shadow figures, screams heard from empty padded rooms, apparitions identified as former nurses or patients.
So the source seems to be interpreting these Hanukkahs as a direct result of all that suffering inside the walls.
Pretty much. It talks about forgotten patients, maybe still echoing their pain, their confusion, locked into the building's history.
Wow. Okay, finally, the compilation covers the Hoosac Tunnel, nicknamed the Bloody Pit.
And for good reason. The construction, 1851 to 75, nearly 200 workers died building that tunnel, almost 5 miles long.
An incredible death toll. So maybe it's not surprising the reported hauntings, as the source describes them, are tied right back to that construction.
Yeah, accounts of ghost miners, strange lights like lanterns moving underground. Sounds like moaning echoing in the tunnel.
And the source even points to a specific incident, right? 13 miners killed in a flooding explosion. Says their spirits are particularly active.
It does. It really paints this picture where the sheer danger and tragedy of building the thing is the root of its paranormal reputation.
So, quite a range then. Infamous murders, witch trials, deep personal tragedies, institutional suffering, deadly construction.
And in each case, the compilation suggests the reported phenomena aren't random, but are like echoes of that unique, specific, often violent past.
It really does make you wonder, based on these accounts anyway, what is it about places tied so tightly to intense history? Why do these specific stories, the whispers, shadows, particular figures, seem to stick so persistently in the narrative?
Yeah, what makes those specific echoes linger? That's the chilling question the source seems to leave us with.